emotions. If we lead ourselves by emotions, as a business owner, I would have folded. I would have thrown in the towel.
Welcome into another episode of KZ1023's Community Beats. You know what's up. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Alongside my guest this week is Christell Frausto. I said that right. Ooh, yeah. And I've been living out there too long, so my accent might be off. She's the vice chair of the Greater Peoria Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and also the owner of TequilRia Wine and Spirits. Ooh, what's going on? You know, my friend introduced me to you via Facebook.
Yes.
Gabe, shout out to Gabe. Great man.
Thank you for the connect.
What's something you're very passionate about?
Yeah, my biggest passion, I would say, is immigration reform.
Oh, we haven't had this conversation yet.
This has been the biggest impact on my life. And it started when I was young. I was born in Mexico, raised in Chicago.
Oh, we're in Mexico.
Mexico City.
Oh, de Chilanga.
And came here when I was 3, when we settled in Chicago. I was in 5th grade, and my dad got a deportation case letter sent to him. So it changed.
In the mail? It just came?
It just came. I don't remember if it was served to him or it came in the mail, but it was something I think that needed a signature. So I think either my mom signed or he signed, but it changed our life. So from that point on, my father had a case for 20 years that he fought, and he couldn't travel. The positive side of it is my grandparents, his parents, who are still alive in Mexico City. I got to travel to go meet them on his behalf, just to visit them.
Yeah.
So I got to see a lot of our culture growing up, and live in Mexico during the summer a few weeks, and then come back to the United States, see the difference, see the poverty, see basically not feel entitled when I'm here, and it just triggered a lot in me. Fast forward, right now, my dad had a pardon. He's good. In another year, hopefully after 20-something years, he's able to visit my grandparents who are still alive.
20 years.
20 years. So what we did is we went into hiding because we didn't know what to do at first. So we went and lived with a family member. They pulled me out of school, and we went from saving money to buy our first home and opening a business to living in hiding. And that brought a lot of trauma to our family, a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
My father, I recognize it now that I know what it is, but you're living through it. And so fast forward a few years, the fear was still there, but it kind of went down a few levels, a few notches. So we just went about our lives. And
hold on, wait.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both my parents were born in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had to have that. I've had family members that have lived through that.
Sure.
How old were you when this happened?
I was in 5th grade, 1995, like right around the time when Selena had passed. That's how I remember the year.
Yeah.
Impactful memories, right?
That's how Latinos remember anything. My big deaths.
big moment. And
but like at that age, you're a kid. You don't know. You don't have it. Like, did you know that you were undocumented?
Well, I wasn't, and we weren't. But his papers were questioned. So his papers were. Ours were fine. My father's papers had an issue. So my mother and me and my brother were fine. My third sibling, my brother, he was born here. So we just went from having, a goal of American dream, and we're getting closer to getting a home. We lived on the north side of Chicago. My dad's reasoning was, let's live in a small apartment. It's a safe neighborhood. It's more important is having that safety feature for my family is they can go outside, they can go to school, they can go to the park, they can go to the lake. We don't have a backyard. We can't afford a backyard, so let's live close to the lake in the north side where it's a little bit nicer. Pay a little bit more in rent, but we'll save up to get a home. So I still grew. My father tried to protect us, teach us, train us. I had a really nice upbringing, very, good times with my family. But that specific part is what triggered how I live now. So by the time I was basically 14, strict household still. I'm the female. I'm not allowed to go out. My dad's like, you can get a job or you can go to school. That's about it.
Couldn't
There's no hanging out in the streets. No.
Couldn't have no boyfriend. You're living home till you're married.
Exactly. So I was like, I can get a job. I was like, I can't go to the park. I can't go to the store, but I can get a job. I'll take a job. So I found a job. I found a job through my aunt who worked at the mall. And at 14, I started working at the mall after high school, freshman
Which
year.
Which mall?
Lincolnwood Mall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I would go to Lane Tech. I would take train buses.
You're at Lane Tech?
Lane Tech from
You know we used to call you, right?
What?
I can't say.
Lane Tech?
Yeah.
No, stop it.
We played you a lot. I was De La Salle.
Okay,
I was a De La Salle kid with the shirt and tie. Yeah.
It was an awesome experience. But so I would go to school, go to work, and basically I went from working a few hours to working part-time. By the time I'm 17, I had already partnered in as a business owner. And I had already gone from like one little kiosk to an inline store. We had already made some moves. We were excited because I learned sales early on. who was my first boss turned out to be my mother-in-law. She taught me a lot of cool skills.
What?
Yeah, this is a Pakistani family. I met the woman. She was incredible. Her name is Miriam Shabir, and she passed away around 2011.
My condolences.
Thank you. I'll forward because all of these things had impacts in my life and my career choices.
Yeah.
They'll all tie together. We'll get there. And just
come on now. I am here. I'm reading the book. I'm with it.
So I'm 17 now, 18, making 30,000 or so, and I'm feeling like an adult. Like nobody can tell me anything, but the reason I did it was because I wanted to help my parents relieve the pressure. They're working hard for us. They would go into debt when back to school came to make sure we have the things we needed to go back to school. My parents didn't speak a lot of English, but would try to help me in school. I went from going to bilingual classes to just English because they were more advanced, 3 years more advanced in teachings. And the kids were falling behind. My mom didn't want me to fall behind. So I struggled. I got bullied, for saying uno, dos, tres. I would say 1, 2, 3. So I went through it, and it made me stronger.
Yeah.
My English got better. I studied a lot more. But now it was hard to juggle school and work. So I dropped out of school at 17 because I thought I was making money. Fast forward to I'm 19, my business went bankrupt. Why? Because we expanded too quickly. We didn't know the language of money. We didn't know how to manage a business. My payroll and my rent were too high for my profits. And what we were very, very profitable as a kiosk and a double kiosk and multiple kiosks and other malls turned out to be very not profitable with Christmas rent and an online store where I couldn't afford the payroll. And we weren't balancing our product orders correctly.
So you went red real quick.
Bankrupt. At 19, I had 18 roughly, had lost like $7,000 in just displays. And I mean, it broke my heart. I was crushed. I was like really, really like, cocky, ready to go. Like, we're doing this. I'm excited. But I didn't have the understanding or the learning to really run a business. So what happened after that? I got my GED in a week. I tried middle college for a little bit, Truman College, middle college.
Yeah.
But I ended up just jumping into a job that would pay my bills. I went into cell phones, telecommunications. I worked at Sprint. Then I jumped over to Verizon, which was my saving grace for 13 and a half years. Wonderful company. They invest so much into women. They teach you to be a leader. They would send me to classes. And I went from a salesperson. One of my managers encouraged me to become a manager. He's like, you call us every time you have a problem. You can handle it. And then, he would encourage me, empowered me. There's a few people that have empowered me along the way. So I had my manager at Verizon. He pushed me to become like a supervisor. Next thing I know, I'm helping supervise 15 stores. Next thing I know, 13 and a half years later, I've worked 30 stores, And I love it because why I would go somewhere, fix the culture, talk to people, make it better, empower the store, fix the numbers, go to the next store. And it was just like I was cleaning up and making things better and go to the next place. I had negotiated my base. I was making really good money. I constantly negotiated my base 3 times. Every time I got a raise, I would go back 3 times, negotiate it. You're giving me more money. You're giving me more money. I do all the dirty work.
That's interesting, the phrasing you use, that you go, you clean up, and then you move on.
But it was great because I got to work with HR. I got to learn a lot about the company policy, about, how to treat employees, how to treat customers, how to treat myself.
Like the psychology
of a business. To me, after that failure, it was like, I didn't realize I had gotten a passion for learning it so much because I knew none of it.
So what are the biggest lessons you learned about
how to talk to people is one of it, like emotional intelligence.
So like,
how to make an impact on someone, how to meet them where they're at, find out what they're thinking, not just about what they do at work, like who are they as a person? You're interviewing people to get to know them. It's the same thing you would almost do with an employee, and then together you build a team.
So you invest in them in a human level,
a human level. And once you take care of them on a human level, everybody's on the same side. And then I didn't have to worry about the customer because I was taking care of my employees. They would take care of my customers. So overall, it was just an impact on sales, an impact on culture, an impact on me being a good leader.
I agree with that because I remember a couple months ago I got really sick, a bad cold. And my boss no, take the days off. But outside of just giving me the days off, he stopped by. He gave me Dayquil, NyQuil, some Gatorades, and eating pack because I threw my bag out at the same time. That's like Riquito, I'm old. But just him doing that
blew your mind.
The second I got back to work, I'm like, Captain's my Captain Scott. What do you need me to do, brother? He's like, you're working too much. No, I'm not working enough for you, man. You took care of me. I never had a boss do that. But showing that sympathy or empathy,
I would say both, and then adding a little bit extra on it. Like another thing that intrigued me was the company had a 401k and financial education. I never had one. You don't get that in schools. And unless your family has had experience with it, you're probably not going to get it at home either.
Well, a lot of Latino families don't really have the financial.
Or life insurance. So that's going to take me into my next career.
Ooh, come on.
So I would teach my employees about their 401k, their benefits. Like, hey, the company matches, it's free money. I'm like, you can grow it this way. Because at 19, 20 now, and, bordering 23, I saw that money grow really quickly. And I was like, there's got to be something here. Can I touch that money? What can I do with it? I'm trying to think of ways to, like, what can I invest it in? And I couldn't, obviously, I learned the rules. But it was just part of, like, the whole package is, like, teaching our employees, like, what value do you have here? And what can you give and what can we give you?
So you're more than a dollar sign.
More than a dollar sign, more than a job. You have a little bit of purpose. You help people the right way. You don't just mistreat people. That's one thing I couldn't stand, was the mistreat of customers or employees.
So would you say that stems back to how you felt your father was mistreated?
Yes, of course. I saw my father get arrested. I saw mistreatment of Latinos. I saw mistreatment of people in general. It's just, you go beyond race, you go beyond color, you go into a humanitarian mode. Do you have a love for people? Did you help in the end? Yes or no? Bottom line.
It's kind of interesting when you take the second or the time to look back into your history and you're like, ooh, this is why I act the way I do.
It is. It's all linked.
Because seeing your father get cuffs on him, and I don't know your story, but was your pops, he was just everyday person.
Everyday dad.
Just went to work, came back. He
was there. I mean, even help with my school projects, tried to give us, a good time on the weekends. He would take us to the beach. He would teach me about culture, art, books, my grandfather's history of Mexico, history of the world. Like, he's a very knowledgeable, hardworking person that, in my opinion, could have multiple companies at this point and be retired, but went into hiding with his talents because of the trauma and the situation with immigration reform. And yes, did my father probably do something wrong in getting here? Possibly. That was pardoned. But I think back further, and I think about the governments, the situation in other countries, and look at the big picture before
our history's muddy.
Intense. And there's agendas, you know what I'm saying? So now you get older, you know how things work. You understand the greed is the base of everything. But standing up for what's right or trying to make a change or an impact, it's part of my passion, and I found that passion coming to Peoria. So let me forward to how I got to Peoria, all right?
Because I'm always going to interject with random ass whys, because I'm like,
random ass stories, right?
Like, I don't know, we were talking on the phone before we got into this, and I think we had 5 different brackets of conversations in the middle of a full thought, and then I was like, oh, we're gonna talk for 5 hours. We're Latinos in the room. Well, we can't hit one train of thought. Thank you. So your story. We're going to Peoria.
We're coming to Peoria. I left Verizon because I couldn't physically walk anymore. I had to have surgeries on both feet. The cost of retail, you're on your feet for 8-12 hours. It takes a toll. I was very grateful to that company, and I still love that company because they took care of me when I left. And it had a lot to do with the relationships I built. But now fast forward is, what do? I need to not work on my feet. And we're in transition from my mother-in-law passed, left a life insurance, very small policy, like a burial policy to bury her. And that kind of opened my eyes. It's like, wow, insurance does that? Like, that's a thing? You know what I mean? Usually you see a lot of people collecting money when somebody passes, right? Because there's no money, no savings to bury even our own people. So I started looking into life insurance and becoming an insurance agent. And then my husband had also gotten out of the cell phone game and opened a restaurant. Well, took over an existing restaurant. So that was a mistake we did not want to repeat, is open a business, not knowing what we did. With what little money she left us a letter like, don't stop, go back to business, go back to being a business owner. You guys got this. You've learned what you needed to learn. So we took over that restaurant and we built it up. It had been standing for 40 years. Gyros, roasted chicken, Chicago style, north side. It was called More Gyros. It's still there. We ended up selling it to our cook. But we ran that up for a good 4 or 5 years and made it awesome. We got involved with the community, improved the menu, added delivery, just did a lot of cool things with, social media and the internet and the apps. And we're business owners now, right? We're doing it again. Yeah. We want to grow and we can't. Chicago's saturated, expensive. We don't see any way out. I look at real estate investments that I'm trying to jump in. I miss, for example, Pilsen was one of them. I wanted to buy property there, go live there. And I didn't, and those properties are worth a lot now. So I knew that my mind was working in a way where I had to believe in myself to take that risk to be a business owner and an investor. And I said, well, I looked around, I just realized it's just too expensive for me to take that risk here. So we had the restaurant going. We're like, we need to do something else. We found a gas station in Peoria after looking at other states, after looking at other cities like Michigan City and other states down south, nicer weather. Affordability is what brought us here, bottom line. I didn't want to come here. I'm a city girl. I was like, what am I going to do in Peoria? And then worst of all, when my ex-husband was driving, I woke up in the middle of a cornfield. I started crying. I was like, there's no way in hell. Like,
down 55?
Yeah. I was
When
like, this is not for me. Like, no, bro, no. Yeah, it's not happening.
When I drove down the first time and I saw the windmills, I'm like, wait a minute. This is, like, it's the weather. I don't know. Like, I'm used to being in La Villita, a little village, seeing all these Mexican restaurants open till 2, 3 in the morning, getting out the club. Next, you know, tacos. You don't have that here.
You don't have that here. We'll get there. We'll get there. I feel like we're gonna be there in a few years. But I know, you know, we still got some work to do.
I feel like Peoria is 10 years behind the major market.
I agree with that. 10 years. Mm-hmm.
Like 5 to 10. It depends. Because I know what we're doing here at KZ. There's no social media. Like, I'm looking. I don't really see social media in the media department like that.
But that's
level.
An opportunity.
It is.
Cities that are very, if you go to other states, cities that are very thriving in the commercial side, like the business side, retail side, they have a healthy amount of minorities, especially Latinos too. You know, Asian community Latinos. There's just a good thriving. Why? Because we're consumers.
Oh yeah, actually,
we're one of the top consumers.
But you know what? Marketing dollars, analytics.
Yeah, it
says 35 white female is the driving force in America. That's what every marketing, what they call analytical numbers when they come up. They say white female 35 is where all the money is.
What about the top number of women opening businesses is Latina?
Are they?
And graduating from.
No, educate everybody right now.
Yeah, there's lots of numbers, lots of statistics. But if coming to Peoria was a decision because of affordability, and I can tell you that in 3 years here, I've been able to do more than in 10, 15 years of my life in Chicago.
Give me some.
So
yes,
that brings a spirit of gratefulness in me, and also finding my purpose here. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been a struggle, and it is a struggle. And and the pandemic is something no one accounted for. So as I get into all my businesses and the losses even that I've had and how I've had to pivot, and a lot of businesses have had to pivot to survive, it breaks your heart, you know. It's a real hustle, and it's a real threat to, you know, staying profitable or staying, you know, even keeping your doors open. But at least what's kept me going is that once we came here and had the gas station, which is no longer ours, we've sold it but kept the land. Nice. I was able to open an insurance agency on Knoxville. I was an insurance agent for 4 years. I loved it. I'm still licensed. Also a financial, like a stockbroker license. I still have that.
You do a lot.
I do a lot because I love to learn. And even if I don't consistently practice it, I did it to educate, to learn, to educate, to check out the field. It was great. Pandemic changed the insurance industry for me. It was time for me to basically pass that off and continue with my other projects, which is TequilRia Wine and Spirits, a liquor store that I designed with women in mind. So if you check it out, I mean, it's a liquor store. It's a boutique style.
Is it going to get you crunk?
It's going to get you crunk.
Nice.
The ladies can go in there and also see the variety that I designed with them in mind. Why? Because I think of my sisters, my friends, my aunts, my mom, you know, like trying to have a good time, trying to go into a store.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Wow. Like, that's something that doesn't come to my mind at all.
For that to click, it's like, it's getting the feedback. It's not just having liquor, it's having variety. It's having mixers, it's having sugar-free, it's having gluten-free, it's having natural, you know, sweeteners, it's having
the right type of displays.
Non-alcoholic even. Yeah, brands that are, you know, made even by other women.
Because I got one of my closest friends works for Diageo, I think it is.
It's one of the largest distributors.
He I don't want to butcher what he does, but he's up there. He's really big with branding. But he's been with them for years. So, like, I kind of know a little, but not much.
Sure. So if you come into my store, for example, you walk in and it's a huge store for it to be a neighborhood store, and the variety is incredible. Thousands and thousands of items. I do my research for products and variety and flavors and try to compete with my price with larger stores. It comes down to being a game of buying in bulk so you can get a better price and pass it on to your customers. But it's also a game of doing your research and knowing, like, what's hot, what's not, what's happening in other states, what's happening in other cities, who are the new brands, can I get them here? And I've been able to do that with a lot of products that are, for example, agua miel. I have mezcal. I have tequila. I have aguardiente. I have Venezuelan rum. I have Guatemalan rum.
I moved.
Guess what? I even have pulque. And for people that don't know what pulque is like not for everyone. It's a drink
fresh from
that's
the
very
cow.
It's fermented. It's almost like a kombucha with alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's something that's considered very poor drink. But
is that like right when you get it from the cow, you let it ferment for like a day or something?
Yeah, it gets fermented, and then you can add flavors to it.
Yeah.
So I have it bottled, and nowhere else do you find that else. Here in Peoria, Midwest, maybe even rarely in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I can only think maybe like 26th Street.
Yeah, I
26th, and maybe
you might be able to find it.
Maybe off of 18th, like if you're lucky.
But I love that vibe because I get feedback. I know there's a market for it. I get feedback from.
There's a market here for that.
There's a market for a lot of products that are, from Mexico or South America or.
Well, they say, was it Peoria? If it plays in Peoria, it plays anywhere.
Exactly.
Like that's the phrase I've been hearing.
And it used to be called the Whiskey City. So. Yeah. I mean, to me, I went into alcohol. Just because my grandfather used to work the fields in Mexico. So he's taught me to, respect alcohol. Mezcal especially is used for healing in Mexico. Like people actually give massages in their body.
Well, the root and everything.
Everything. They put herbs and fruit into the bottles and they let it marinate for weeks and then they eat it or drink it when they're sick. I mean, to me, it's fascinating. Again, it's part of the culture, but also it's a cool, profitable business if it's ran well, which I'm still learning how to run.
Do you find yourself getting bored with tasks every now and then? You put a lot into it, and then you don't feel challenged. You're like, all right, what's my next thing?
I do and I don't, but I have so many things on my plate because. So I'm gonna go into the chamber now. Okay. Let me tell you about that chamber keeps me busy because
the VP of Greater Peoria Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. That's a big title.
Well. It's a volunteer-based group, so we're just a small group right now. Yeah, we're just doing the work behind the scenes. It started when I became an insurance agent. I was like, well, I need to sell a product, and I don't know anybody here. Let me find a way to network. And I found this chamber that was starting to meet, and I got to go to their second meeting. And because of the flexibility of my schedule, I was able to become a really big-time volunteer. The title just came later on. I was doing the work because, to me, it was a research project. I got the post for Peoria. I created a blueprint for myself. I got to meet people, a network. And I came across a lot of resources, and it was a really cool time. The Big Table, which is a big event that happens in Peoria every year. The community comes together at the Civic Center, gives feedback on 4 different main topics. Oh. And I met a lot of people there, and it opened so many doors, and it's put on by the Peoria Chamber of Commerce. So they took us under their wing and welcomed us in. It's like, here, help us participate and bring people to the table.
That's cool.
So all about perspective, having a voice, knowing what's needed. And it opened up a lot of doors. So when here I am trying to help my community or be a voice or find out what the needs are, I'm tapping into resources and bringing them back or sharing them back, whether it's in Spanish, whether it's on social media, where it's me meeting with people, meeting with other business owners. It brought a purpose to my life. It's like I love doing this. Why? Because I know how helpful this can be for a family. You
feel like
thinking
you're walking,
of my own family. Right?
Yeah, you think you're walking in your own light.
Mm-hmm. So it was very fitting, and it was originally it became about business, right? We're trying to help businesses, but it opened up the doors to help with other things. It became an umbrella. I became a volunteer at the Peoria Park District. I became a volunteer with things that have to do with arts or children or healthcare, and you're kind of become this knowledgeable, point of contact, and then you just keep connecting people to connect with each other and make the network bigger. And it's so satisfying. I love it. I wish it paid me enough where I wouldn't have to juggle all these businesses, but outside of that, poco a poco. Yeah. I also did I got into some rental properties, and also on the Fair Housing Commission for the city of Peoria, just because I wanted to learn that aspect too. It being
Plus
so
you
affordable
add
here.
The representation also.
Yes. I don't like it when people get taken advantage of. You already know. So.
I take that.
It's like learning.
I can assess from already that you are a strong-willed Latina.
Thank you.
Yes. You know what I mean? No vas a dejar. You're not going to let people get one over you.
Exactly. And I think the biggest opportunity there is being educated, and not just in a sense of let me go get this degree. It's being educated in processes and procedures and laws and opportunities with, whether it's a grant or it's, a program or a certification, just what's available, what you can and can't get if you're documented, undocumented, if you have an ITIN, if you don't have an ITIN. And we advocate that. For example, one of my proudest moments with the Chamber of Commerce is just during the pandemic. We were advocating for business owners that did not have social security numbers that have ITINs, and getting them support and resources. So just from being here in Peoria, reaching out to Chicago, the groups that we work with, the DCEO, and having them actually put something in place for those families. It wasn't just us doing it, but that our voice helped impact that. So the last round of grants, they included business owners with ITINs. And to me, that was like a huge accomplishment.
Did you get any blowback from it? Or
No. At the
nobody fought back on it?
No, not from there, because we have people in roles within that organization that are also looking out for the same interests of the whole group. Again, if you're going to help people, you're going to help everyone, or you're picking and choosing who you're going to help. If you want to help everyone, how do you get to everyone?
It's like the Hippocratic Oath. Like, you're here to help and save.
Yeah. If
not pick and choose.
No, not pick and choose. It's a humanitarian point of view, not just, and not just Hispanic people. I'm Hispanic, so that's who I help, because I have the language the barrier is there for language for a lot of things, so I can assist. But trust me, when I say that, when I'm involved, it's to help everyone. When I have an event or we have something to share, it's for everyone. I just make it a point to make it available, accessible in 2 languages. So the chambers brought a lot of opportunities, a lot of connections, and all we do is host, a monthly gathering when we can. We try to be as consistent as possible, and in the back end, we meet, we mentor, we refer, and it's been really cool. So that gave me my purpose. I ran it for 3 years. Right now, I'm the vice chair, and we have a new chair, but I'm still involved, and that's been a huge impact. So it's led me to have other positions in Peoria. I help with Bradley University, the Civic Center, Greater Peoria Economic Development Council. So it's gotten me positions so I can continue my learning and my process, and staying involved. Bradley University, the students are amazing. I love them, and having a little bit of support for them there too. Pandemic kind of put a halt and a restart to a lot of things. So right now we're at a stage where we got to figure out what's next.
Well, there's a blessing in the redirect. Like, if you actually take time to understand, because I was in radio in Chicago, and I had this entire planned idea of how my career is going, and then COVID. I'm no longer in it. I got to redirect, and I never thought I'd be in Peoria, Illinois. I never heard of Peoria, Illinois.
Never heard of Peoria, that's right. I never heard of Peoria either.
Couldn't expect no respect to y'all that love Peoria, but you're talking to 2 Chicagoans. I'm from the South, you're from the North.
I'm from the North.
Peoria, Illinois, I was like, where's that? But I saw the app opening, so I'm like, vamos, let's go. And when you first got here, did you feel like you stood out a lot?
When I first got here, I wasn't here. I was running back every 3 weeks to go back to Chicago.
Me too.
My plan was to get up out of here in like a year or two, basically flip a business, make some profit, and go back to reinvest in Chicago.
Look, if we're being honest, that's exactly what I want to do.
My mindset coming here, and I was like, oh, no way. But over time, it just became home, because I calculated the amount of time I was in traffic in Chicago, and it was a year of my life. It was a whole year.
Well, yeah, if you get stuck on 9094, you're done.
9094 had 2 hours in my day every day, and Lakeshore Drive and all. So it was just the quality of life that kept me here. Once I was able to buy a home. So I lived in a condo. I bought my first condo at 19. It was a 2-bedroom condo. I call it a shoebox now, because I bought a home for a third of that price. A home with 4 bedrooms and a nice backyard. And I'm super humble and grateful about it, but to me that's a brag. That's the comparison from the quality of life I had in Chicago to now. And I'm still, I don't know how old I was when I got here. I was in my early 30s, but just what I've done from then to now, I don't look at it just as time. I look at it as the opportunity, and as it was a fertile ground here for me to do it, and it still is. And for more families to come here that are Hispanic, like our Hispanic population here is growing.
I've been seeing.
It's growing, and it's going to keep growing.
I've been seeing more brown faces. Hola, ¿cómo van? How's it going?
The benefit for this community and the equity that we're building here in families, hardworking families, I see it as a blessing. I see it as an opportunity, and that's why I'm so grateful, and I'm going to continue to advocate for Peoria, for my community, and just, pray that my businesses stay profitable and keep growing. I've had a lot of support, but it's been rough, It's been really rough. I'm trying to open a restaurant behind TequilRia, and it's been a few months in the process.
It's in the Heights, right?
It's still the East Bluff. If you cross War Memorial, you go into Peoria Heights. So we're still considered the East Bluff. We're still the city of Peoria.
I've talked to a lot of people about East Bluff.
East Bluff, yeah.
East Bluff is like a big name.
It's a big neighborhood. It's a very...
but it's underprivileged or funded.
Yes.
I guess would be the terminology.
There's a lot of opportunities in the East Bluff, but the reason I invest in it because a lot of our community lives there. The homes are nice, you know. I just feel like, you know, if pride of ownership, when you own a home there, you try to take care of, you try to make it better, and not just look at, you know, yes, there's crime, but I come from a city where there's even more crime, so. You know, let's just make it better. Let's just stay involved with the, you know, police department. There's so many things we can do, you know, like to work with the youth, to work with, you know, the adults, the parents. So that's always a work in progress. But I think, you know, if you try to solve all the issues, not everyone is designed to be involved in that. Like I've chosen my battle to support businesses and to support immigration reform. Cool. You can help with other tasks, but I try to stay focused so I can be a little bit more effective.
But those are very personal to you.
Those are very personal, but I still invest a lot in the East Bluff, whether it's events, cultural events for the kids, my businesses, the rental homes. I, you know, try to be a great landlord, fix up abandoned homes. I'm active in all that. And what I'm doing is building my brand, so it's not just my name, it's my business, and the business that gives back. So when people support me, they're supporting a business that gives back. Because it means a lot to me. It's who I am. It's who my brand is.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of the big things that I do or work with or help out a lot with, like Big Brother, Big Sister.
Nice.
Providing mentorship for youth is something I'm big passionate about. Because I've had a lot of friends that either end up in jail, end up dead in the streets. So I'm like, all right, if I could at least show you, hey, there's a brown kid from Southside Chicago that has his own demons, that's able to do dope things.
Yeah. Let
me be there for you. Like, boom. Cancer, I do Relay for Life all the time. My grandma's passed away from that, so that's right there with me. And then comedy, anything with laughter, because I feel like...
Bringing alegría to everyone. That is so dope.
Well, yeah, because, you know, a day without laughter is a day wasted in my book. Because there's so much, like, I don't know you, but I can hear some of your stories, and if I could just alleviate that with some joke, some humor real quick, that can go 10... It's like a random act of kindness. Yeah. It's a random act of humor.
I bet you make yourself laugh a lot to keep yourself in good spirits, too. I love
I
love somebody that does that.
Oh, my God. No, like, if you were to pass by... I got some friends that live on my floor, right? And it's two things they'll hear all the time. It's either music blasting.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. It could be from Chinta, Ana Gabriel to like the Gap Band. Like I'm all over the place. Even some Chicago house. I'll throw it out there. I always got music playing, or I'm always chuckling.
Okay. Yeah.
Something is making me laugh, and it's just me and my dog. That's all we got. And I'll be cracking jokes to Rocky. I'm like, "Yo, what up, dude?" And people hear it. They're like, "He's crazy. It's fucking crazy."
That's great. You gotta break the 10 daily routine and keep yourself.
Yeah. I know when I first moved there. I don't know if you had this. Let's see if you did, but. I stood within my place.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't explore. I would be back in Chicago every 3 weeks, and then I'd be calling my mom like every day with my best friend, like, hey, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like, I don't like the isolation, but at the same time, I don't trust nobody. I don't want to go out.
I don't know the neighborhood yet.
Yes. People at work would be telling me stories of streets. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, talk to me about 18th Street, pimp. Like, that's what I know. I know 35th Street.
I
like,
know Morris and Howard Street, and you know
you're like, streets. Oh, you know University Drive. I said no. Why would I know? You know, like, but as I found a friend, you know, Gabe, Ruby, Allen, that's my close group here, and the fact that I can just, hey, y'all want to go have brunch, pop up, hey, we're going to kick back and have drinks, boom. But having that has made this place feel like home.
It does. Gabe is also from another state, so I feel like I love a person like Gabe who's very positive, ready to do activities, meet people, and you know, he's got a great group. And I used to go to boxing with Gabe, and then he was going to salsa dancing. And, you know, just having those friends that have you,
Mr. Sunshine.
Mr. Sunshine, invite you to those activities. And my activities just were in the sense of more business at first, but then, you know, there's a lot of good stuff to do here and fun stuff. So I like it now. It's peaceful to me here.
How long did it take for it to feel like home?
It took some time. You know, I came straight to Pekin for 2 years, and then I actually moved to Peoria on my 3rd year.
Wait, how was Pekin?
Pekin was fine for me. My husband had a different experience. He's a little darker, but I mean, he also speeds, so you know, if he got pulled over a bunch of times, I don't. Yeah, no, I didn't have any personal issues, and I think again, I don't know if it. You know, I can't speak for everyone. I didn't have any personal issues with
Because when I moved here, the first thing I got told was, don't go to Pekin.
Yeah,
it's spelled Pekin with 3 Ks.
I loved being in Pekin, actually. I didn't have any issues. Yeah, I saw some flags, you know, but I didn't have any issues. No one ever came to me. My ex-husband had a different, but that's his story. I don't know what what he's gone through, but it happens at the airport too. So again, he's Pakistani, so he has a different set of things that happen to him.
See,
that
the
he shares
comedian
with
in
me.
me wants to crack so many jokes, but I won't, out of respect. Just let you know, I grew up on the stage with a mic in my hand, and the opportunity to crack jokes and be sarcastic.
He cracks his own jokes.
Okay,
so
good.
You don't
as
have
long
to,
as he does it, we're
he
good.
He cracks his own jokes, and he's my business partner. He's my best friend. It's been hilarious. As we go through these things, we just both feel the same.
I gotta ask this question, and we could go past the edit out if we have to. But did you say that's your ex-husband also?
Yes.
Your ex-husband is your business partner.
Yes.
That doesn't get like a little.
It sometimes, and it always has, whether it was from the beginning. And our uncle is our third business partner.
Well, he's not mine. You made it a family thing.
Yeah, it's a family thing. It for sure is a family thing. And coming from a family of trauma, it's like I'm trying to sometimes bring in some more stability, because we. You tend to be in fight or flight mode a lot, and especially after surviving the pandemic and feeling like we weren't going to survive it, we had to make a lot of pivots from our original plans. But that's how it is in business. You have to have the stomach for it. And over time, you just hope that stability comes. And when that comes, I'm going to be very, very grateful. But now it's a grind, and it goes through seasons. The restaurant will hopefully open in this year. And that'll turn it into like a kind of cool plaza, like a plaza where you can have multiple stores. Yeah. But
when I went, it was like country night.
Okay.
And I had people. Well, I was dressed like this.
Yeah.
I got my fedora on. I look like I'm out of Chicago. I look like I walk in, and as soon as I walked in, it was on the bottom floor. I think it was Port Brothers or something.
Yeah. It's not
good
too far
beer.
from where I'm at. Yeah.
Good beer. Yeah. I walk in. As soon as I walk in, everybody's like, "Nice hat." And I'm looking at everybody like, y'all got cowboy hats on saying yeehaw. Like, I feel like I am so out of place.
I would say I don't feel like I'm out of place. I just think sometimes the positivity sticks out, because they're like, why are you so positive? What are you so happy about? It's like... I'm
a big brown kid with a red fedora and a big beard. Like come on
I
now.
just seen what my family has come from, coming from Mexico, coming to Chicago, coming to... the conditions, the reason people are crossing that border, I mean, think to those conditions of, what's driving that, whether it's cartels, whether it's poverty, wher it's literally life or death. You tend to be grateful and try to see the positive things in what's around you.
The silver lining.
To me, it's been a blessing.
Well, even right now, with they captured Chapo's son.
Yeah.
And then now they're saying that the military is going against all the cartels, or like they're trying to put a defense out. I've been trying to keep up with the stories, but you don't know what's accurate or not.
Right. If you actually go on TikTok, you get a lot more inside.
Which is crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Think about it.
Yes. Because
TikTok is what Twitter was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. They get a lot of info and
like when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's one of my friends right now. When you think about it though, like you get on-site reporting. I remember in the Ukraine when everything was starting to go out, I would get everything off TikTok.
Yeah. A lot of hidden agendas. No, even not to be a conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of agenda there. And if
we're Latinos.
You're hip to,
we don't trust easy.
There's a really good book I'll recommend. One of my friends recommended it to me years ago. It's called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and it talks about what goes on behind the scenes of countries' policies, wars, politics. But we have to have a voice. We have to have solutions. We can't have emotions running all over the place. If we lead ourselves by emotions, as a business owner, I would have folded. I would have thrown in the towel.
How long did it take you to get control of the emotions?
There's ups and downs. I can tell you that.
I still got mine. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a lot of ups and downs. But after making some mistakes that you saw that you were repeating, I caught myself repeating the same mistakes. That's when I had to tune into my emotions. It's like, why am I making the same mistake over? I had an idea in my head I wanted TequilRia to be, right? But I couldn't afford that. I couldn't afford even the sign that I originally wanted, the outside of the store. Why? Because the pandemic hit and it cost me 3 times to build that store. So I had to build that store in with my original designer and theory as it came. And 3 years later, I'm closer to it, but it's not what it was from day one.
So mentally, frustrates you.
I had to be like, I can't keep overspending on everything I want to bring in because I want this to be the reason. I mean, I'm there. Trust me. You walk in me, I have thousands of products, but I wanted more. So I had to control my emotions and not overspend in my orders. but still have a good balance and pick the best ones. So it made me fight harder to bring in the best products and do even more research. I would spend 8 hours looking for products that were worth bringing in and phase out the ones that weren't. So now you walk in, you see my bourbon collection, you see my rum collection, or you see my tequila collection, you know a lot of thought went into it. So that's like one side of controlling your emotions, because bottom line, money has to control your business. You know, your expenses, your savings, your expenses, your payroll, everything you can control is control it and inspect it and check yourself, check your ego. Like, yeah, I want this to be the dopest store, and it's gonna get there, but it's taken me maybe 2-3 years instead of the first year. I opened when I thought we were not even gonna open the doors. Like, we were about to go bankrupt just in that project itself, not in general, but just for that project, because it cost us 3 times to build within the store, within the building, and then get the product, and then pay the payroll. And I mean, everything you had to juggle was just, you know, unexpected, with the materials going up during COVID, with not being able to get permits right away. So I had to keep my guys paid, you know, with sometimes there being no work because they've been with us for years, helping me fix the homes. So it was, you know, me taking care of my people, me taking care of, and then getting to the point where I opened my doors. So those mistakes and those, you know, sacrifices kept us all together. And it wasn't just me, it was me, my uncle, and my ex-husband. So, I mean, we felt it. And that's how you learn to control your emotions when it's life or death, when it's, you know, eating or not eating, or paying your people or not paying your people. That puts you in check. Like, those type of lessons. I remember my grandmother almost died in Mexico, and, you know, the family didn't have money to send her, but everybody's out here buying stuff, and it's like, check your priorities. Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Are we giving back? Are we just taking? You know, what's your legacy? You know? Well,
because as Latinos, our big thing is we're very family oriented.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're very. My grandma was the same. My family, my mom and grandma said, "Si no tienes ganas, no vas a ganar."
Yeah.
So like, necesitas ganas. You gotta. Aquí estamos.
Aquí estamos. And the part that makes me excited is the young generation, the kids, right? So I had like Snapchat where I would share all my process, everything I was doing every day with my businesses, and I had my little cousins on there. I had people locally, you know, and I would post a lot at the time to show the process of realistically, like, the ups and downs I go through every day of trying to get this business operation going.
POV, behind the scenes.
And they are going to take it, and they come up to me, they're like, can you mentor me? Or, look, I saw this thing on TikTok, I can flip gym shoes, I can do this. I'm like, you guys can do anything. You guys can start like a pressure washing business, you know, you guys can start, you know, and it's just showing that to them, because we work very hard as the people, but do we invest as hard? Do we invest in ourselves? Do we educate ourselves? Are we ready to, you know, to hit markets, hit real estate, hit, you know, retail?
1 2 1 2.
And the answer is not as much, but we can.
Well, have you experienced I've experienced it a couple times with other Latinos where it's the crabs in the bucket syndrome. As one tries to get out, they pull you right down.
I've heard it a lot, but and it's talked about a lot, but I don't talk about it. I don't focus on it. I keep helping because I'm serving God. To me, in my head, in my mind, I'm serving God. If a person tries to take advantage of me or tries to do me wrong, I did my part. Yes or no, did I help? Yes or no?
See, that's hard for me because, like, if you wrong me, I still got that 20% Chicago man. Like, I don't forget where I came.
Have you? If anybody out there has rented houses, and it's such an emotional process to want to give a family a home, or have somebody take advantage of you and continually lie to you, and then have to get to the process where you have to evict somebody. That when I learned to control my emotions, I think it was, you know, learning to order product correctly and putting boundaries down, especially with renters, because my heart wants to help, but reality is it's still a business. I still have to, you know, take care. So I'm very clear about, you know, boundaries and communication, the leases. All of these things are very important. That was a learning process for me, learning how to write a lease, learning the legal aspects of things, learning how to cover myself from somebody trying to do fraud with their checks.
Make sure there's no loopholes where they take advantage of things. It's all in the verbiage.
I think it's all about, like, preparing yourself to protect yourself, knowing that the worst can happen, and then also trying to help at the same time. But if you look at the show, one of my favorite shows was The Walking Dead when it came out. It was such a survival show, you know. Everybody was like, you know, who do you trust, the person in front of you or not? And it's not hard from what's going on out there every day. So don't mistake that someone's kind for not being educated or not know how to protect themselves. But hopefully it doesn't get to that. And you win people over, just like having a team. When I first started at Verizon, you win the people over that you come in to help a store. And there's people not on your side. There's people that's already going to hate on you right from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
How do you win everybody over, even people that are coming at you like that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
So it's just you know, try to use your emotional intelligence, because it helps better when you have more people on your side.
Because I've experienced where I'll come into a situation and I'll be chipper, high energy. I'll be me. I'll be fun, lighthearted. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But then there's always like a handful of mother, you know what I mean? They're like, man, not that fool, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I got to check my emotions, because one of my favorite sayings, I think it's from the Art of War, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yes.
Which, in my mind, I address it as, let there be peace around you. You can have torment inside, but control it. Yeah. Control the emotions before they dictate who you really are.
I'll share with you a weird story.
I love weird stories.
Okay, weird story. Previous employee at my insurance agency had a run-in with another business, and she gave a bad review, and then that business found out who she was, so they wanted to attack my business to get back at her personally.
No.
And this person recruited a friend, a buddy cop, who thought they were going to intimidate me. So it became this like full out like attack on social media on my business, and it was very racist driven. But even though I've had barely any experiences with like that personally, right? So it just came down to me knowing the law, how to protect myself, what to say, where to say it, like, you know, and make it clear and show up and not be, you know, like not back down.
It's
and
tough.
I did my quick investigation. I knew that person's name, and I was like, this is what it is. Pick one.
But it's tough though, like learning how to mature as an adult and understanding that not every instance in life deserves that reaction from you.
That's true. But I've had guns held to my head, so I know when to control my emotions and when not to, because you can lose your life over it. You can lose your life over it sometimes. So especially when you know, all of my businesses have been in rough neighborhoods. I've grown up in rough neighborhoods, so I've seen people get killed for not controlling their emotions, letting something go to the next level.
Oh yeah.
So I try not to think of it as me being naive. I'm trying to think of it as me being more like intelligent with my negotiation skills.
Which is interesting how you say that, because I've damn. All right, well, my mom listens to this, so she's not gonna be happy to hear this. Shit, I actually never told the story.
Let's go for it. I'm here for it.
But I snuck out of the house one time when I was younger, when my mom was in Mexico with my grandma at the time. My dad was there, and I snuck out, went to a party that was supposed to be on St. Louis. I had a gun put on me, on my head, because the guy was just being drunk and dumb. Yeah. And I remember in that moment, I felt so powerless. I'm scared to shit. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. Like it wasn't until maybe a year and a half into the pandemic where I actually went with my best friend and shot a gun, and I took the control over that. Where I'm like, all right, got over still your don't like him, right? But it's like in the moment, up until then, I was always fearful. Yeah. So like the way you just said that, where it's like, oh yeah, I had a gun at me, blah blah blah, and you just rolled past it like it's nothing. Some people listening to podcasts have never had that instance. Yeah. And don't understand the comeback from that. So mentally, I was holding a baby. They took my purse. No. So we had to control our emotions, because that could have gone really ugly. I was holding my friend's newborn baby. We were on the west side of Chicago. Like, well, there's your first problem on the west side of Chicago. You know? I was in even the north side's like that. My restaurant was in between a war zone between Morse and Howard. And it was a lot of young people being used as pawns for another person to take over the area. Yeah. So underage, like you're talking 16-year-olds killing each other. They would run into my restaurant and, you know, try to cause problems. So I mean, we had to learn how to work with CAFs, the police department down there, and stay involved and just, you know, have a relationship with them, and then try to, you know, work with the groups that would used to gangbang. It was one of my old school buddies from my grammar school walked the streets and talked to them because he had gotten out, trying to get them to see the way out, because they were used as pawns. It's all a game, you know. It breaks my heart. So it does break your heart, and just being, and those experiences, they make you a little bit more calm about popping off and controlling the emotions. And I've gotten people that were against me to work with me in helping the community. So I don't make it about me. I make it about, you know, let me I have something to maybe to share with that person, whether it's a woman. And usually females will only come at you if it's about a dude.
When they're really, really against you, it's usually about something stupid like that.
For real.
But if it's when it comes to, you know, like off of first impressions or appearances, you can get out past all that.
Because guys, it's all machismo. It's all ego.
I'm not a guy. I can't begin to imagine the pride.
Ay, Dios mío. I've had instances where I've walked in a room dressed with a fedora, scarf, everything, and I have my sunglasses on because I like how it looks. I think I look good. And then automatically I'll hear, oh, that guy thinks you think you're all that. And I'm like, nah, bro, I just like how I look.
A girl that wanted to have a fight with me just because she didn't like how somebody looked at me that she was dating, I shook her hand and I said, I don't fight females. And she was part of someone that helped me bring together a group of women to play sports the following year. You know what I mean? So if I would have just punched her and clocked her, I would have probably lost the license over it for one of my businesses.
Probably would have got a little case too.
It's not worth it, you know. And
fighting over another person is not worth it unless it's family members and they're getting disrespectful. But, like if you come in here sideways and say some stuff about my mom or pops, my mom always told me, "Don't fight. I'll beat them up on my own." But at the same time, there's a pride where like, nah, I'm gonna pop that motherfucker. Like, you got a line.
Taking boxing classes, I mean, it was fun, but
I ain't got boxing classes. I just got two cannons right here. Once they done, that's it. You know what I mean? Like boom, boom, yeah.
And I look back at I just pressed the button. I look back at
what did you press?
I pressed this button right here.
I have no idea what that is. Don't press things, please.
I won't press anymore.
It's like in the movie where they're like big red button, don't press. He says like, what's this do? Does it say anything?
I just said push.
No, don't push.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
Yeah, but it turned out, you know, like we made something happen. If I just lost I had a conversation with her and I found out more about her, and it's like, okay, you know, you do your things, I do mine, but she invited me back the following year to do sports group for women. I was like, all right, let's do it. You know, like no hard feelings.
It's kind of crazy when you think about like just roaming unchecked emotions.
Yeah.
And then when you put the dating aspect into it, it can muddy so much up.
Yeah.
It's like nobody cares. Ain't nobody looking.
And the truth has so much power if you're just very honest from the beginning about how things are. I feel like that's not used as much in dating. Yeah. Just telling it how it is, like, yo, this is what it is,
yeah.
and you have to respect that. You get more with the truth than you do from lying. So.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, it's actually like such a cool power. It's to tell the truth. It's like this is what you choose this or you don't. And
well, I was telling a friend not too long ago he got his own relationship. Like a girl's into him, but he's not into her. He's like, well, I don't want to hurt her. I'm like, better be an asshole in the moment than a dickhead at the end of the game. Because you know what? If you tell her up front that you're not about her, you don't want her, and don't drop but we could be friends, because that's going to ruin it. Just be like, I'm sorry, I don't share the same feelings with you. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're a friend, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you'll be an asshole in the moment. But if you string that lady along.
Yeah. That'll save her a lot of thoughts.
Not only that, but at the same time, you become the dickhead at the end of the situation.
Yeah, you can respect that.
Well, yeah. I mean, just because someone like you don't mean you got to like them back.
No.
Yeah, that's just how life goes.
No.
It's interesting, though. It is. Once you get into that dynamic and then you have business involved into it. That's why when you said that your business partner is your ex-husband, I'm like, ay, Dios mío. That feels like that's...
I love that man, but yeah.
No, but that's great. No, I'm glad you're able to make it work.
But it's hard, but
no, that's
I'm glad it's him because he's always had our best interest in mind, and I get into fights with him about like little stuff, but it's always about trying to make it better. Like my biggest complaint is like let's just be more structured. Let's just be more organized.
He's more the wind?
He's more by the wind, and I try to bring more especially after living trauma, you want that stability, you want that healing, you want to bring that peace to your daily life, and if you can apply it to your business, that's good too. If not, you're going to have your days, especially during our seasons. Like we just got past the holiday season. Mm-hmm. It's hectic as it is. Summer is hectic. And we have to regroup. But I kind of like, having that corporate, I want to try to plan for the next year in advance. I want to organize, all of our receipts and things like that.
Have you addressed what that core is about? Like what makes you need to have that structure hardcore? So what is it?
And I've told them our trauma is we have had so much that we've been through that we're just constantly in that fight or flight mode. We're just like and instead of like taking a step back and being more organized about your plans or being more organized about, how we do things. Like, let's check in with us. Let's have our meetings. Let's make sure we do this, like, more often, just to start bringing more stability. We take care of business. We take care of it.
Yeah.
But I just want to get ahead of it. Now, I want to be ahead. Like, I want to know what our goals are for the next year and make sure that we're on target for them.
You want to be ahead
more
of the
budget.
curve,
yeah.
Before, God forbid, something happens.
Exactly, because we might not have another pandemic, but anything can go wrong. They've tried to break into my store. They've tried, costs have come out of nowhere. We've remodeled that store a few times just to make it a better flow, bring down theft. Put up more we just try to make it feel safe for our customers. Like, I pay for extra lighting outside from Ameren, like a car dealership posts. I have lots of cameras. I try to make it welcoming and safe. And I'm also trying to take the stress off my employees, make it more of a process, streamline everything. Yeah. So that's what I'm always advocating for.
It's better to have a plan than having to throw it out and still have like an idea of a concept than to be like, shit, so what do we do now?
That's probably what I get on his nerves about. So that's probably been our biggest like bickering. And I wouldn't even say they're fights. I would just say they're bickering.
It's disagreements.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I've had that instance where I'm a man who I'll have stones I know where I have to get to.
Yeah.
But the process of how to get there, I enjoy the authentic in the moment aspect of just going. And that has rubbed certain women I've dated completely wrong. Like, well, why don't you plan more? But like, life, you don't know. Just go with it.
But the funny thing is, in the home, he would take care of all of this. And I wouldn't. He would handle all that.
So it's flipped.
So it's flipped. So it's like, maybe he's like, I need to he's like, calm down a little bit. We got this. But I'm just like, I'm eager for that stability. And I think to me, when you get to stability, it's a good goal to have.
So is it financial stability that you're very eager about?
Yes, financial stability, because right now we're in expansion mode. When you're expanding, it's like constant money going in. So I want to get to the point, I'm like eager to get past this expansion where we're building up a restaurant. We're going to build up. And we've just finished remodeling TequilRia, adding more security measures. So, like, we bought the building. Like, there's just so much to it. It's like, okay, we've already expanded so much. Let's focus on making this the best it can be and stabilizing it to give all of us a peace of mind.
Yeah.
And that's cool for me because once everything's up and running, our vision is turning it into a plaza. So you can come get your food, bring your family. You can get ice cream, food.
You're going to have kobe-kazi Come on, let's go.
I'm going to have all, like, Chicago-style food, shakes, like we used to do at Morisqueros, and, like, kebabs probably. We're still not set on the menu, but it'll be, like, burgers.
Just tell me tacos 2 in the morning, please.
We used to do lengua tacos.
No, not lengua tacos. I'm not
we're
that
not going to be a Mexican restaurant, so I don't know if we'll have tacos. We could do, like, specialty plates like we used to do back in the day.
Just do the
our gyros are what's up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, our gyros it was the best in the north side.
I will say the one thing I do not like is the fact that, say I go out to Southside night or later night, right? When I'm done,
you need a snack.
I want tacos. I burn calories. I want to earn them back. You know what I mean? Like, I want some tacos. I want some gorditas. I'm talking about the food.
Yeah. There would be some food trucks, like one joint. That was it. And I've only seen them a couple times.
Nah, pues. It don't work. I don't want Taco Bell to be my go-to.
I go to Bachi's Pizza over by Bradley. They're open till like really late.
Are they?
Yeah, that's probably
Wingstop has been my
that's a good
saving place. That's how you know I'm from Chicago. Wingstop. Yeah. It's interesting that we're talking about just the financial security and aspect. Most of the Latinas I've dated in my life, that has been their driving thing.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that also in the Latino world?
Let me tell you why for me. If I have everything set where I can be semi-retired, I can go full-time into my passion projects.
Which are?
More immigration reform, more of what I do with the community. Right now, I do maybe like 50-70 community and more like 50-50 right now. And it was at one point, it was like 70-30. I would do 70% of my time in my appointments, and I'll show you my calendar, was community.
I'll show you my calendar. You show me yours.
It was ridiculous. And then I did slow down. Why? Because my health took a hit. Like, my foot I have an injury, so it began to hurt again. And I didn't want to go through surgery again. So I took it a little bit easier. I worked from home, bought an iPad, invested in an iPad Pro. And it was like, okay, it's a business expense. Let me get this. And learn how to work from home and take it a little bit more easier this year. But if I can retire, semi-retire, I can make more impact. That's my goal. No car payment, no house payment, have my businesses running themselves. Like, I want to get to that point, and so I can do my passion stuff. And then I can continue to do investments. I probably have another 2 businesses to flip in me. And then I'm done.
That sounds
I have my
right.
eye on one. I can't even talk about it right now, but I will work on it in the next 3 years.
Because I like cheese. Can you tell me off the mic?
I can take it tell you off the mic. You're gonna look at me like I'm crazy.
Well, hey,
But
look,
I'm ready
I don't know whether
for that
make
one.
kind of males will tell you, but
It's
I
a
watch
male-dominated
novelas.
field.
I love novelas. So anytime I get some cheeseman for free, I am
Right?
down.
So I have my goals of just maybe like 2 more flips, 1 more flip, and then I can work more on like my passion stuff. Because that doesn't usually pay me unless maybe I get a nonprofit that can get a grant and give me a salary. I don't get paid for that work.
You know, it's funny. Like I'm a body language person, right? So as I see you explaining the stress of, well, I gotta do this. So like I self-assess myself.
Yeah.
When I'm in my thoughts and I'm trying to figure it out, I'll look away because I can't look at you because I can't think. So I see you. You look down and you're trying to assess, and then the minute you said, and then that we said, I get my passion project. Your head goes up.
Yeah.
Big ass smile.
It's like a visual learner.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yep. I gotta look down, think in my head. I have my list, and I'm like, okay, these are my goals.
It's funny because my boss now knows whenever he asks me a question, I immediately look away. And like at first, I would see him looking at me like, "Why you keep looking
That's
away?"
okay.
I'm like, "I'm thinking, brother. Like I'm thinking."
You're also a visual learner like me.
I have to be. Well, yeah, a little bit, but like in order for me to get something, I have to have my hands on it.
Yeah.
Because I gotta think about it, and then I gotta put my hands up on it, and I gotta figure out what works.
Yes.
That's the only way I can do things. I don't know, but that's interesting though, because I feel like a lot of Latinos thrive, or not thrive, but we necessitate structure. At least financial security. That's our big thing.
Yeah.
I can't speak for black,
I've
white,
seen it a lot.
Asian. I can't, but I know for us.
Like when people ask me a lot about investing, whether it's, for example, like in real estate or a business, I run into a lot of people that still have like the more old school where they don't want any debt at all. They want to pay everything off. They want to buy the house cash. They want to open the business cash.
Says I.
Yeah.
I don't like the
They don't want debt, but I help them with going in that direction because it's totally possible, and I completely understand. Debt can also help leverage you in an expansion. So there's 2 sides to it. Sometimes it's like, yes, but I still explain to them the positive side of positive debt, right? But I get it, and then that's when I introduce them to other concepts like life insurance or investing in a life insurance and IUL for their kids. Even if I don't sell it to them, I just refer them off to somebody. Because
Good.
a $50 policy for their kids will leave their kids set for life, and it's a policy that plays the market, and it's a policy that they can borrow against, become their own bank, whether it's to buy a house, a business, go to college. It's not just like a college savings plan. There's about 4 vehicles a Latino or anybody can take to become rich, and it's real estate, it's retail, like actual physical stores, it's life insurance, and it's playing like the stock market. But the life
I was
insurance.
gonna say lottery. I was like, stop.
Oh no, no! I still look at it, but no. But life insurance
You
is
get your
so
scratch off
under.
today?
Like, no, I don't do that. I'd rather take that little $1 or 2 and put it towards my nephew's life insurance policy, because I'm setting him up where he won't have these stresses if my brother raises him right, he can take it to the next level. Which is just if the way that the market has been.
But look at his Tia. You really think you're gonna let him?
No,
slide?
I'm not gonna let him. I'm gonna make sure he's giving back too, and he's in a good position.
Do you take him out to the stuff you be doing?
I give him $50 if he learns for his first bank account. If he learns the word stock, profit and loss statement. I gave him a list of vocabulary, and I had to have him understand. And at the same time, he was understanding how he thought, his thought process, because it was very hard for him at first. But I needed him to understand the dollars, the nickels, the pennies. And then I needed him to understand stocks, what it meant, what a company meant, what like just a few words. I picked like 10 top words, and I gave him $50 for it. So he was with me for a good 2 hours earning that $50. But I was able to see how he thought and help him, because I had that anxiety of learning 2 languages. So I know what I felt as a kid, right? Trying to learn 2 languages, having the pressure gave me anxiety and made me feel like inadequate. It made me feel like I didn't know it. It made me feel not smart. When it was the opposite, I just had to learn how to think.
Yeah, it was something new.
It was something new, and I helped him with it, and now he's doing really. My brother just told me yesterday he's doing even better in school.
Yeah.
So I feel so like excited about that. I don't have any kids, so it was really cool to experience that with him. So
yo tampoco. I just have nieces.
I have my businesses are my kids, and my projects are
my dog's my child,
my passion. So
I'll be looking at my dog. Vamos ya. I'll be talking to him like a little kid.
That's so cute.
Niño, ya vamos pa cama.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a hot dog, a lab, and a terrier mix.
I had a Jack Terrier Chihuahua.
Do this. This is Rocky. I'm showing a picture.
Okay.
If you want to see a picture of him, go to my Instagram. The Husky Heartthrob is right there.
How cute.
But that's young Rocky. I mean, my mom has taught him how to sit at the table.
That's so cool.
No, like we used to have during the pandemic, my sister lived with us. So it was my sister, her husband, her 3 kids, her dog, my mom's dog, my mom, my brother, and my dad. And then I lived in the apartment in the front. So all of them in the house. So then they would have a bench at the table, and my mom, anytime I would drop him off, I was dating somebody at the time, and I would drop him off, and she taught him in like 2 weeks how to politely sit on the table.
Oh, how cute.
Sit next to her, and she would sneak him food.
I need to know her secrets.
I don't know what she does, but my mom is, I get my passion for dogs from my mom. Like, my mom is a dog person. Like, we throw the birthday parties. Yeah, she loves dogs more than people.
I believe that.
Yeah, well, you know, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
And she deals with a lot of...
she knows they're so caring and loving.
Well, I mean, it's the purest form of unconditional love. No matter what. You could yell at your dog, and they're still going to want to come right up next to you. You yell at your partner, they're not going to want to talk to you for a little bit, you know?
Like, leave me alone about using the calendar in my list.
You could tell, you could go off at whoever your day, be like, I just need space. But then secretly you don't want space, and then you're like, why didn't they come say hi? Guess who doesn't do that?
Yeah.
Your dog.
No.
Your dog's like, well, you need me now? ¿Cómo estás?
Ready?
Yeah. Can we go for a walk?
We're getting some food?
Yeah, exactly. But like, I will say, moving out here, if I would have done it solo, I would have lost my damn mind.
I believe that, yeah.
Yeah, but I had my dog Rocky, which that helped, because I have my, if we open up, I have my issue with anxiety, overthinking. Okay. I think this is the healthiest I've probably been in a very long time.
How's your sleeping pattern or habit?
Midnight or 2 in the morning. Okay. That's kind of where I'm at.
Person,
yeah. But you know, I start by 10 in the morning, so that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
But it's like, he provides me the comfort to be
relaxed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And not feel alone, because that'll get you thinking more.
Well, or that'll make me make bad decisions. Oh, she's cool. Let me date her. Yeah, but she got X, Y, Z. You know what I mean?
Let me disappear for 2 days.
Yeah, but I can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can you spend the night? No, I can't. I got my dog. That's my easy
boundaries.
Yes, exactly. No, that you speak of boundaries. Did you learn how to establish boundaries personally or professionally first?
I would say professionally first.
Oh, yeah. So are you a people pleaser?
Yes, because it was all about helping. Like I just thought my grandfather is the person that taught me how to think, and what that means is like he was like, he dropped out at 3rd grade to work for his family, and the things he did in our family to help the entire family in my family history, I know how much they've come along. What he did was literally miracles, the impossible. And he's written me a handwritten book about his life, because I would love to hear his stories. And so what he gave me was the ability to learn how to think. And he's like, I didn't go to school. I had to learn how to think to help my family or survive or work or come up with a career. And he was basically doing engineering stuff without a career in Mexico. So I was like, this man is intelligent. This man has made it happen. And, you know, I would always ask him, you know, like how the process of things. So when he helped me learn how to think, I was like, you know, not exactly the best student in class. I didn't want to be in class. I wanted to learn more hands-on because I had seen him do it. So
you want to live an experience. I
want to live an experience, and so I'm all about helping my family, or and then I didn't set boundaries right away because I didn't know how to help people at first. I thought giving, you know, whether it was money or just time. Now I know that it's helping them learn how to think or how to find things. So I get a lot of questions every day from people, and a lot of times they don't know where to look or how to look.
Yeah.
So I had to put down boundaries at work because I like to take a lot of vacations. So I was always negotiating the fight to get my vacations and be up out of there for my enjoyment. So I applied that to kind of to people. It's like, let me help them, because they didn't want me gone on vacations because I was so essential. And I said, that's not good. If I'm gone and this place is falling apart, that's not good. How do I teach them to think and be essential to themselves.
But that happens a lot with Latinos because mentally we are told to be hard workers and keep our head down so we don't cause a disturbance, so they don't look into the family. That's where it ultimately comes down to.
Or parents rely on their kids to read even their mail to them, or look something up on the internet, or I even catch my mom doing it sometimes. Say, look this up, or tell me about this. I said, you look this up using this app, or you can use this resource, or it's like, you don't need to rely on my brother. Like it's just the habit of doing that. It's
interesting because I didn't have that. So both of my parents were born in Mexico. My dad came over when he was an infant, and this is before who's the big president Latinos love? It's not Reagan. Who is it?
The 60s.
Yeah, is it Reagan? When the amnesty and all that. Amnesty. So they came over then. My mom, she has her entire story of all that. But both of them spoke perfect English. Like my mom speaks perfect English and perfect Spanish. Nice. Like she could code switch mid-conversation. I've seen her on the phone with her sister. I know que vale todo desmadre. Put it down. So as I was discussing on this, and this is
a switch.
Yeah, and I saw that growing up. And then my pops will do the same thing. He's a little bit more, a little paisa Spanish. Yeah. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it's like I had a different aspect growing up as a Mexicano. Like I saw where a lot of Latinos,
very functioning.
Yeah, where a lot of Latinos, Mexicanos specifically for us, would have to be the parent to the parent.
Gotcha.
I had the opportunity to kind of be a kid, but I've had my own traumas and things. But it's interesting whenever I talk to another Latino, I'm like, oh, I don't have that lived-in experience.
Yeah, and
because that pressure of having to be the translator while also being the child, while also helping them to understand the foreign culture, in a way, like that's got to be mentally
is
a lot.
It is a lot of pressure, and luckily I didn't get to go through it for a long time. Like what ended up happening is my mom would babysit kids, but by the time we got old enough to go to school on our own, she went back to college. She got her GED, got her associate's degree, went into accounting, and now is like a full-time professional and is trying to finally open her own business.
How was that, seeing that though?
It was so cool to see that because I'm so proud of my mother. Like she is such a strong woman, and I see her and my aunt. I have many aunts, but her and my aunt that she's closest to have the same mentality of like moving forward in life, right? Helping the kids, helping the grandparents. And my mom right now, like, you'll see her go, she has time off, she'll go to help someone, whether it's my brother or my grandparents, her brother, my grandparents in Mexico. Like, she's always about taking care of other people. And my grandparents, on a humanitarian level, they go to other countries to help people. And they themselves are just barely retired. They're like, we just believe in God. We are just two regular people that can help, and we're going to keep helping. And when I first learned about God, I was like around 14 when I went to work. My parents went through a phase where there was so much pressure at home because of the deportation thing and the bills and all that, where they separated for like a good year, and I thought they were going to get a divorce. It triggered me, so I looked for something. I didn't know what I was looking for. I ended up realizing I was looking for God, faith. My parents didn't go to church, they taught me about God, but didn't.
Did you have that experience where you felt God?
Yes, I felt that because, so I have a mentor that's been in my life since I was 15. Him and his wife have been my mentors, and they're the ones that brought me to church, that taught me about God, and they're still in my life. Shout out to Lindsay and Queen, the most
friends of the pod.
Couple. Yep. They're a black couple that took me to an all-black church my whole teens.
Also, like Lutheran or
just a Christian church. Yeah. Now we go to Israel of God, Riverdale in Chicago. I stream it. But one thing that he said to me that stuck with me till this day, and I've asked him maybe when I was in my 30s, because he taught me a lot that helped me in my in the political area of work in a corporate field where I was able to move ahead. He taught me how to negotiate all that. So the things that I did, I've had help from a lot of people. And I asked him, I was like, hey, just randomly one day, I'm like, why have you been in my life so much? Because I have him, I have my father, I have my grandfather, I have amazing people that have come in my life. I mean, he's like, I asked him, I'm like, but why me? Like, why did you decide to stay my mentor or be in my life? And he said something that I'll never forget. He's like, sometimes God just puts people in your life to help, because if you help them, they're going to help more people. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like, whoever comes to you, if you help them, they'll help more people.
Well, I don't believe in coincidences. So people that come into your life and spend some time in it, it's for a reason. It's a purpose.
Yeah.
Like I can think back to everybody I've met, either whether it's dating or friend or family, cousin that I don't talk to anymore. There's a purpose for them in life, whether they were a mirror of who you are, or a mirror of what you can be, or a mirror of what you probably shouldn't become. They're there to teach you something. Like that old adage, "Dime con qué andas, te diré quién eres." Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, and I think that's when I felt it. It's like it happens for a reason, and now I get to continue that work that he's done in my life, and
that's dope.
Love them like they're friends, they're like godparents, but they're like super cool. His wife is a attorney/judge. He's like the smartest person I've ever met, and they've been in our lives just helping us like in dark times too. And those are the people that have shaped my way of thinking. So that when I walk into a room and you said, "Do you stand out?" I think my positivity stands out, and not just me, but I try to use that for a purpose. I don't try not to make it about me, because man, when that ego hits and you're like, I want TequilRia to be this and that, and then I get myself into a financial problem where it's like, I just put stress on a business because of what I thought I wanted, not what's best for the business. Let me listen to my customers. So I started having tastings where they would tell me like, oh, this is good, this is amazing, can you bring this in? And then get the feedback from who comes in and supports me and who buys from me. That's more impactful because those are your actual customers. So my thoughts and their needs, where's that balance?
So you love success, but you embrace failure. Nice.
Yes. And if I can be successful, I mean, I could possibly not have this business tomorrow. It could be any other thing. If I have the stability financially where I can just keep doing more of what I love, or I would love to maybe one day merge it. I've been looking into nonprofits that we have a nonprofit through the chamber, but a different kind of nonprofit where you can apply for grants to do the work and pay yourself that salary. That would be a great dream. I mean, I just don't know if I want to stay and going full into that direction. It's kind of like a crossroad. Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you continue to balance the two?
You got a lot that you want to do?
I have a lot that I want to do, but I literally pay people to do my job so that I can go do stuff that doesn't pay me because I love to do it. And I see that it's needed. It fulfills a need. So I'll just try to keep that balance right now and stay grateful and see what comes next. And if the opportunity arises, I know I could jump on it. What's
it feel like to be fulfilled in your purpose currently? Because I'm experiencing it now, but I always love to hear this because you look like you have a passion to you right now, right? Like as you're explaining it, I'm seeing the body language, I'm seeing the smile, and you're like, yo, this is nonprofit, whatever, but I'm loving it.
It feels like you have something amazing and you want to share it. And it's the joy of sharing a way out, a survival tactic, a success tip, a hack. And I think maybe that's why I love TikTok. People sharing their stories and their hacks. 3 minutes, you get to get a peek of somebody else's.
Well, you haven't seen my TikTok.
I'm going to have to follow you, man.
No, you don't, because I'm not. I'm the opposite of this.
But that's good, too. You need that alegre person that's in the crew, that, when you're throwing back a few beers, you're having a good time. That's the person that's all
the sarcastic cat with puns.
Love that. You need that, because it's not like, right now, I know I feel the pressure right now. I do. I feel the pressure. I've taken this year to take it a little bit more slow, trying to get my health, because when your health goes bad, it humbles you really bad, whether it's your health or somebody else's health. Like when my grandmother almost died. I've been on my deathbed 3 times,
yo.
Man.
I know
that puts a perspective like none other. And there's always going to be things that come and humble us. But
any day above the ground.
So right now I'm just like in that mode where it's like, okay, new challenges this year for sure. I know they're coming. Because opening a restaurant, how crazy is that? When 12 restaurants have closed this year. Like, just knowing how good my product is, that I have to believe that it's going to be successful with the cost of, even paper cups, straws, everything has gone double close to.
I mean, look at what got this.
Yeah.
The price alone.
Cooking oil, limes insane. So
limes alone. They've gone up $1.
Yeah, just alone this new idea or plan because, I want to make this happen in Peoria. It's a risk. It's definitely a risk. And if it doesn't work, then we jump to the next idea. But like I had to do that with insurance. The COVID changed the process of insurance in the insurance industry. But
I didn't think I was gonna be here.
Yeah. Shout out to anybody that's hustling, that career, and you can make it work. I just didn't have I didn't have the force anymore, the employees. Like, it was just me and one other person. So I had to make the best decision at that time because I had health issues in my family. I had to go take care of my family. My uncle, who's my business partner, found out he had a brain tumor.
Oh, is that when we were texting? You said you had to go.
And then my ex-husband had fallen in the ice. So he has his head has like brain trauma.
I know.
So I couldn't juggle my insurance agency that I love to work. I couldn't do it anymore because I had to take care of family and juggle everything else on my plate. So I have to be more conscious not to stretch myself out so much.
You just told me we could have postponed this for so much longer.
No. This was last year. This was a year
ago. Okay. I just mean out there right now.
This was last year.
I was like, no, you guys.
No, this year is fine.
I clenched my chest,
this year's fine. We have some things like, my grandfather is supposed to have open heart surgery and a tree fell in his house. So we took care of that. We went to Indiana together as a group and we took care of his house. So I got to spend New Year's with my family, which was
silver lining.
So cool. Yeah, because when you work retail, you don't get New Year's, you don't get Christmas.
True.
And that's been going on for like 20 years. But it was cool. I just didn't have to worry. I had to trust my employees. I had to trust they held it down. So
good.
That's the anxiety sometimes. It's like letting go from being hands-on. And we just invested and expanded so much that now we just got to let things kind of fall into place. And I'm so grateful that people support my brand and business, though, because they do. And I'm not going to stop giving back. So I just hope they continue to support me because I'm there. I do a lot of bartending for nonprofits, companies that need gifts, anything. I make it work.
How's the anxiety?
It's high.
Yeah.
It's high right now.
What do you do to help it out?
So because of this injury this year for my foot, I didn't sleep a lot. I would sleep like around 5 because I triggered so I went on a healing trip to Ecuador about a month and a half.
Got some brujería though?
No. I would no.
Con el huevito y todo.
No, not the
huevito. Sana, colita, si no sana hoy.
I had an injury and I was really worried and I actually caused myself more pain. I ended up trying to stay in bed trying to heal it, and I ended up with back pain, sciatic nerve pain.
Oh no.
So then I was like, okay, well this isn't helping me. It's gonna trigger more my pre-diabetes because now I'm just at home instead of working out. I was doing really good last year. So I took a trip to Ecuador because I looked into healing, not just medical and
holistic.
A holistic healing. I did it. I went down there and they got rid of pain in 8 days. I coordinated 6 different things. I went with my friend, stayed at an Airbnb, lymphatic massages, injected vitamins, 2-foot doctors, top of the line foot doctors.
Ooh, I need all that right
therapy. I can't even remember everything I did, and I bought a lot of things. And I came back, and the pain is gone. So that was the first step. It's 1 year of pain gone. So that's why my anxiety has been so high. Otherwise, it's not this high. Pain is gone. Now I have to go to the next step, hormonal balance, so I can lose the weight that I gained from being in bed for an injury for a year. And get back to having the energy and back to a healthier sleep pattern than before. Because staying up all night it's gonna tear anybody down.
Yeah.
So now that the pain's gone, I'm trying to fall asleep earlier. Yesterday was the first day I went to sleep at 10 p.m.
Hey, 10 p.m.
5 years.
Hey, stop 10 p.m.
10 p.m. because I'm just, melatonin until I make it a habit. Because I'm determined to get my health back. But
good.
When you've had a business that works till 1 a.m. and you can still get calls at 2 a.m. or you get a call from a 10 in the middle of the night, it breaks your sleeping habits. So I just have to reprogram, So yeah, anxiety is high, but I have a plan. So
good.
That's why when people ask me should I, I want to go into this business, but you got to have the stomach for it. I'm very realistic about what goes in and out. Lady asked me, she's like, I have this much amount of money, I want to open a restaurant, and it was maybe half of what she should have. I had to be honest with her and be like, these are your options, look into this and that. Could I have made it work for half of it? Yes, because I have the experience on how to cut corners.
She's going to be stressed.
But she's going to be stressed, so.
And the more corners you cut.
The more corners you cut, yeah. Oh, I'll show you when you come to TequilRia. Fortunately, Sears closed a few years ago. And we were able to get a lot of the displays for the cheap.
Oh.
And I custom made my own displays from parts and pieces that I bought. I mean, those are just corners you have to cut. It was the pandemic and I was about to not open. So we made it work and it looks beautiful. You would never guess. But we had to get really creative. And, and sometimes some young ladies come to me and they're like, we want to open this business or do that. And I was like, you know, don't necessarily buy all your displays new or your inside decorations. Like, make them, find them, paint them, cut corners.
DIY?
DIY.
Huh.
And I know it's possible. Like, I've seen my dad do so much stuff for me, and him and my mom. Anytime I bought my first office, they came in and remodeled it for me. I had something in mind, told my dad he would just make it. You know, so I know it's possible. And then when I work with my construction crew, like, they bring me hands-on into things. Like, they fix a house, a roof. I'm there. They're showing me how it's done. And then I go with them to pick out materials. So I've learned so much, and I know it's possible for us to cut corners. So I just share those kind of tips. It's like, okay, there's this group. This is what you do to make sure you hire someone that's going to do a good job, or get referrals. Share, like, real estate groups with them. Share people that are going to give them more advice or tips, or invite them in. Like, there's a really cool group in Peoria called REI. They get together once a month, and there's a lot of real estate investors and people that, you know, like, refer to each other. It's really cool. Like, there's just so many cool people in Peoria trying to do it right for their industry.
I've been starting to realize that more and more. There's more. It's interesting.
But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't get out about a network. And I had to learn how to network. I had never networked in my life other than, you know people because you work with them. I didn't network before I came here. And now it's my most powerful move that I made because it opened so many doors.
I tell you, that's probably what's made, because I moved here April 8th.
Okay. Yeah.
And the time of us recording this is January 13th of 23. And when I left to Chicago for Christmas, it was also my birthday, and I remember driving back to town.
You're Sagittarius?
Yeah.
Me too.
Wow, when's your birthday?
4th.
The 4th? 17th.
Okay.
Look at that. No wonder.
No wonder.
So
we'll be here another 3 hours, folks.
More than likely. I still got to do a show, but whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. But as I'm driving back into town over the bridge, like, I feel like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
But by that time, I had been networking crazy. So, like, from April till September, I was kind of isolated. I was trying to figure it out. My anxiety was through the roof. Like, I was calling my best friend probably 5 times a day. But now he called me yesterday. He's like, "Yo, what's up, fucker? Like, you haven't called me yet. Like, you haven't called me in 5 days." I'm like, "Oh man." He's like, "Well, you been busy?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you mean you ain't been busy?" I'm like, "I kind of been on my couch just chilling."
He knows you. That's good.
Yeah. He's like, "You good? Everything fine? You normally call me." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm comfortable. Like, I'm good now."
Those are good people to have.
Well, yeah.
That know you and know when to look for you. That's good.
Yeah. And then my mom calls me too almost immediately after I get off the phone. Shout out to Miguel, friend of the pod, best friend of the pod.
Hey, Miguel.
My mom calls me. She said, "¿Y tú? ¿Tú dónde vas?" I was like, "Right, Peoria." I'm like, she's like, "You don't call me no more?" I was like, "I just saw you." Like, like it was 5 days ago, bro. Like, relax. But I think it's more than just love. I think they understand that I'm a person that has anxiety.
Yeah.
And because their phones are always available to me,
that's great.
When I no longer call, they get a little worried. But that's kind of beautiful. Like, I'm at a point now where I'm like, because of networking with different people, now my close circle, Gabe, Ruby, Allen, where I hang out all the time, we have places we'll go. I can hit them up for brunch.
Yeah.
Peoria becomes a home.
I love that.
It's the people around you that make an area a home.
I like that quote. I came across the bridge and I felt home.
I know, which is weird. Because immediately when I got back...
I need to copyright that.
Yeah. But it was weird, though, because, like, I haven't been here that long. I haven't been here a year.
Yeah. Wow.
And when I came here, I was working WMBD and KZ.
Okay.
And then officially they moved me over here because I think they finally understood, like, nah, this dude is hip-hop. Okay. Like, this brand is Ross.
Yeah.
And when they gave me... Like, I have so much... They trust me so much.
I love it.
No, I love it too. But, like, it's weird. Everything in Peoria right now, it just feels like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I am who I'm supposed to be now.
I love that.
I have good control over the warrior in me.
Yeah.
And I just see opportunity in Peoria like you do.
I see it. I feel it. And speaking of hip-hop, like, I don't know if you've heard of the Yanni Collective. Like, it's another group of young people doing great work. I get to work with them a lot.
I feel like I've heard this name.
There's just so many groups.
Did you tell me this name?
I think I did.
Well,
I want to connect you with them. Make sure you interview more people. Like, there's just so many young people doing great things. And those personalities, they don't hide who they are. They don't shy away from what they bring to the table, their culture, the culture, period. What attracts the youth. And I think that's so powerful, because when they're not just giving away toys, they're having like college fairs.
Don't press that button.
I'm not pressing the button. I'm looking at the button.
I saw your eyes. I saw your eyes and hands.
I'm excited because, you know, I get to see other people doing stuff that's never been done. That kind of lines up with what I love, and I see that can happen. Then we just work together and we make it happen. And then we just bring in more flares to it.
Yeah. Juntos podemos.
Yeah. So I remember at first, one time I was about to get like real discouraged, because I was like surrounded by negativity, and I went to Bradley University, and I found it there with the students, the young students, like the freshness, the professionalism, the view of the world.
They haven't been traumatized yet.
They had, you know, and they were just ready to go. Like, we're here to help. Let's make this happen.
Look, we're both in our 30s. A person in their young 20s, I feel like has not. Well, some may have. This is an overgeneralized statement, but most 21-year-olds that I've met, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, life ain't slapped them hard yet.
Yes.
Which at 21, life slapped me a little bit.
Yeah.
But not at 33 now. Life done slap me a few times where it's waking me up. So it's always awesome when you're able to come across youngsters that still want to do amazing things and just need some guidance.
And trust me, I'm not young. I'm closer to 40.
Oh, hey, man, you good.
But, yeah.
You look good.
Thank you.
Come on now. You got the silver linings.
But I'm trying to, like, gather that, you know, like, I had a really big honor this past year. Got a few, you know, recognitions over my career, but the recognition that came from the community, the Hispanic community, was really cool. Like, they voted like a reina thing, but for the work I did. And then I got like a comptroller, and it's like, what? Like, that was awesome. So, I'll leave you with that.
With that note, there's been another episode of KZ1023's Community Beats. I'm Ross Martinez, your host. You know, my guest this week has been the vice chair of Greater Peoria Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the owner of TequilRia Wine and Spirits here in Peoria. Christell Frausto, thank you so much for everything. We know each other now.
Yes, we do. Now we're cool like that.
She's gonna put me to work. You know,
you know it.
Do me a favor, go back and check out all. Well, not you could. I mean, if you want to listen to episodes, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
But everybody else, go back, check out the episodes you have yet to see. Thanks. Appreciate you. Peace.